Welcome, everybody. Hello, my name is Andrea Macris. I'm the Head of Business Engagement here at the ISC, and I'm delighted to be welcoming you all to the very first Suppliers in the Spotlight webinar presented by the Infrastructure Sustainability Council. Today, I'll be introducing you to 6 businesses from across Australia who offer products and services that can support your sustainability ambition. Whether you're working on a new design project or perhaps an asset owner looking to make some incremental improvements, the following 6 suppliers are keen to collaborate with you. Each of these suppliers is featured on the ISC's iSupply directory. And therefore, for those of you undertaking the Innovation Challenge number 5 as part of your IS Ratings project, engaging with these suppliers may support your rating outcome, as well as what we're all here for, ultimately, sustainability benefits. Before we take a look at the agenda, I'd just like to respectfully acknowledge country and pay my respects to the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today, wherever that may be for you. In our agenda today, we have Jamie Robertson starting us off from 361 Degrees Strategic Engagement and Communications. We'll have Tara Osborne from Bingo Industries, and then following straight after that, we'll have Yuchen Yu from Zyger Energy. Following these first 3 presenters, we'll have an opportunity for a quick Q&A. So please do pop your questions into the Q&A widget as you're listening to the presenters. After that Q&A quick session, we'll go into the next 3, which will be Reynard Wood. George Reinke will be speaking from Reynard. We'll have Morgan Ledger from Circlos, and then finally Ryan Hackney from GeoFabrics. Again, following that, we'll have another quick Q&A, so keep your questions in mind and pop them into the Q&A chat there as you're listening in. You're more than welcome to take notes, of course, but we do have a recording of today's session, which we'll share with you after today. So we've got you covered there, and it will be a snappy 45 minutes through the session. So we'll buckle up, and without further ado, please allow me to introduce Jamie Robertson from 361 Degrees Strategic Engagement and Communications. Thank you, Jamie.
Hello. Thank you very much for the introduction. Okay, so we'll just kick off with a bit of an introduction as to who 361 Degrees is. So I can go to the next slide, please. So we are a certified B Corporation, which in essence means that we are a sustainable company committed to the delivery of sustainable projects, something that we have observed. It's a trend to rectifying that, but there are companies who are not sustainable trying to deliver sustainable projects, and that can be a problem from an alignment perspective. We don't experience that issue because we've gone through that certification process to make sure that we are sustainable. So sustainability, it's a core of what we do. It's who we are. In terms of our company, we've been around for 20 plus years, really managing the project communications in infrastructure environments, including telecommunications, railroads, and ports. We do work in resource sectors as well. Focused very much on the West Coast in Western Australia, but also happy to look at opportunities elsewhere in Australia. We've continuously been involved in the delivery of the stakeholder engagement ratings and some of the broader ones in the earlier ratings, such as health, legacy, those things, but really they've been bound up into the STA stakeholder ratings these days, and at the moment working very much in 2.1. Next slide, please. So our approach, we have an extensive internal library of guidance notes covering all aspects of project communications and civil infrastructure delivery. So that's basically been developed over 20 years. So if there's any issue that potentially could impact on community or something that we need to engage around, we have guidance notes for that. So it's not like every project we're reinventing the wheel. We've actually been collecting best practice for decades, and we rely on that, and we continue to improve that. We apply community and design principles to our projects. So community design, it's a relatively new concept, not necessarily well understood, but the idea there is when a project is in design, the project is geared towards engagement and listening, and your design leads, but also to some extent your construction leads, are empowered to be able to make decisions to mitigate their impacts. So what we're really talking about there is engineering in opportunities and engineering out impacts. That in its core is what community design principles are about. We also create those decision-making pathways within the project to encourage the leadership to consider stakeholder feedback and manage social risk. In our experience, there really isn't any use having a project communications team on board managing social risk and managing your communications if there's no willingness to actually listen to the feedback that comes back into the project. So one of our key tasks is to make sure that we create those feedback channels and that there's opportunities for that feedback to be considered, and then that the response is given back to the stakeholder to close that out. Next slide, please. So in summing up, one of the key reasons that we're different in our approach is, and this may be familiar to those of you certainly that work in the safety area, and you've probably seen this slide in nearly every induction you've attended, a version of it. This is our version from a project communications perspective. We call it the hierarchy of impact controls. Most project communications are at that bottom end of impact and compensate. For us, we're across the entire triangle. So we work with the entire team from elimination right through to compensate. I'm happy to take further questions in the follow-up. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jamie. As we said, this is going to be a very, very snappy snapshot of some of our suppliers. So we will have some questions, pop them into the Q&A widget if you would like to ask anything of Jamie during this session, or we can connect you afterwards. Next up, we'll be hearing from Tara Osborne from Bingo Industries. So welcome, Tara.
Good afternoon, guys. Maybe just flicking to the perfect. Just a little bit about Bingo. Bingo Industries is the leading building and demolition and commercial industrial recycler along the east coast of Australia. We have over 350 trucks, a network of more than 20 sites, and a workforce of over 1,200 people. Bingo Industries is wholly owned by Macquarie Asset Management, which provides us with a great deal of international know-how and access to best practice. We're extremely passionate about our role in driving towards a circular economy, and this really underpins our vision for a waste-free Australia. Bingo is the largest producer of recycled products along the East Coast. In FY23, we produced approximately 900,000 tonnes of recycled products. These recycled products range from aggregates, road bases, sand, soils, and alternate fuels for use in construction and development, agriculture, and heavy industries such as cement and power plants. I'd like to sort of go on to the next slide. We've invested over $1 billion over the last 5 years in infrastructure along the east coast of Australia, and we're continuing to invest in state-of-the-art recycling infrastructure. I'd like to sort of take you on a little bit of a journey on our latest investment in Paytons Lane in Orchid Hills in Western Sydney. This facility is the first large-scale C&D wet recycling infrastructure project in New South Wales. We are predominantly targeting GSW soils, and this plant will be able to accept up to 240,000 tonnes of GSW contaminated soils through our state-of-the-art recycling wash plant and water treatment infrastructure. We are able to wash and clean material that would have otherwise been sent to landfill. We're targeting a very ambitious diversion target of 95% diversion of waste from landfill. We're really focused on, I guess, investing to move up the waste hierarchy. Bingo has invested $14 million on the waste treatment infrastructure, but another $20 million on the recycling plant to ensure that our recycled products are of the highest quality. Through associated on-site infrastructure as well as the recycling wash plant, we'll be able to produce a further 300,000 tonnes of recycled products for the Sydney market. We're predominantly targeting the Western Sydney market, and these products will include recycled aggregates, wash sand and soil, and an engineered filling product. These products aren't just used for development and landscaping purposes. We're really interested in targeting the best use of these products for input, and this would include integrating these materials into things like asphalt and concrete production to preserve precious virgin materials and reduce the carbon impact. Peyton's Lane in Orchid Hills, we're located in Western Sydney in the growth corridor, close to the development of Western Sydney Airport and the surrounding developments. Flipping on to the next slide. Oh, something's happening with our formatting here. But I guess just a little bit about the benefits of using recycled products. By using recycled products, you're contributing to the development of the circular economy. We're reducing the impact on the environment through preserving virgin materials. And the biggest one, sort of diverting waste from landfill. And I guess in light of sort of ISSB standards, reducing our scope 3 footprint, both through sort of transportation and also the reuse of products rather than virgin materials. Just over to the next slide. We'll be having an opening for Peyton's Lane in April. If anyone's interested in tours of the site or attending that opening, please feel free to reach out directly or if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tara. That was great. Thanks for that overview. I'd now love to introduce you all to Yuchen Yu from Zyger Energy.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a great honor to share with you today. Zyger Energy has a mission to fast-track the energy transition towards 100% renewables with innovative solutions. We position ourselves as a pioneer on energy storage and other solutions that are critical for next-generation power system. Courage, innovation, diligence, and symbiosis are our culture DNA. We believe in together we can make change. So we would like to have long-term and mutual beneficial relationship with our customers and partners. Our current business offering include flywheel-based solutions and FLED solutions. Flywheel is a mechanical energy storage method using high-speed rotating flywheel to store energy. The solutions are ideal to meet high power, high cycling, short duration power needs. Our flywheel application include flywheel UPS, flywheel wayside energy storage system for metro, dynamic power system, and a grid stability system. FLED is a revolution from light source to flat light source. Compared to LED and high pressure sodium lamp, it can significantly save energy, reduce glare, provide sufficient penetration during foggy or rainy days, and working normally in harsh environments. Our LED solutions include floodlight for airport, port, and intersections, tunnel lights, street light, and mining exploring proof lamp. We helping incubating long duration energy storage solutions and working with Australian universities to do further innovation. If you have any interest on our products and innovations, I'm looking forward to share with you more details. Thank you so much for your listening. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Yuchen. Really appreciate that. So we're now going to go out to all of the audience with Q&As. Now, I've noticed that there aren't any questions in there, so I've got some up my sleeve. But while I'm talking, please, I encourage you all to pop any questions you have in the chat. The first question is, are you able to share the presentations with participants? And yes, definitely, this session is being recorded. So you will certainly receive a link to the recording straight within the next sort of 24 to 48 hours. And if you have any Q&A questions that aren't answered today, the participants, the supplier participants can answer those for you. We'll send them to you afterwards as well. So Jamie, just a really quick one for you. Can you give us an example of a recent project that you've worked on? I know you're over in WA, but something where you've been able to really support sustainability outcomes for that project. Just a quick overview of something you've worked on recently.
Yeah, certainly. The most recent project, which has come to an end, would be the Mitchell Freeway extension. So a 7-kilometre extension freeway in the northern suburbs of Perth. really strong focus on sustainability there, greenfields. Yeah, lots of community involvement. Obviously very new suburb, and a mix of expectations. Basically, it was a national park behind these residents. So a lot of requirement to do expectation management, but also a very low level of tolerance when it came to construction impacts. There was really no experience of the sort of construction that was involved in building a freeway, and bridges and interchanges, all those sorts of things which go with it in a community that's relatively new. And that is certainly been our experience. It's quite different doing major civil infrastructure projects in communities which are familiar with infrastructure projects as opposed to those that aren't. And certainly we managed to achieve some really good outcomes there. Public art outcomes are absolutely fantastic, involving the community in just creating some of those legacy items, but also really in the management of impacts and keeping the community on side. So maintaining that social license of the project and just a general good relationship. So it's been a great project.
Fantastic, thank you. Excellent. A question for you, Yuchen. Your flywheel storage, are these suitable for temporary construction site power to allow for things like electric cranes without needing to upgrade site power?
Yeah. I think the flywheel, they are best. They have the best position to meet the high power, high cycling, and the short duration power needs. So on the elevator or the crane, if indeed they have the high cycling operations. So we can design some such solutions specifically for the crane and for the working environment. Yeah, I think any application related to the high cycling, high power, short duration power needs, we can do.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And a question for Tara. Your slides referenced a large quantity of waste timber. Where do you source this waste timber from, and what do you typically use it for? Is it for mulch or other purposes?
So typically we target mixed building and demolition waste. So the timber comes through a mixed waste stream, and then through our advanced recycling facilities, we separate those materials. We strictly follow the waste hierarchy. So clean timber gets reused for particle board and clean mulch. The engineered timber that is able to be reused gets sent to particle board, and then the dirtier timber stream gets used as a fuel for power plants and for cement kilns as an alternative to coal.
Fantastic. Okay. A couple very quick more ones. Other questions for you, Tara. Have you got any facilities in Brisbane?
Yes, we do. We've got 4 facilities in Brisbane. We acquired United Waste Services a little bit more than 12 months ago now. And we are looking to grow that business further. So we've got a sort of a collections fleet of about 40 vehicles, 4 sites there, both B&D and C&I waste collection.
Okay, great. I'll just pop another question from myself in for Jamie. At what point do you think it's important for projects to be thinking about their strategic communications and engagement? At what stage in the cycle of the asset?
Look, if you're the agency, it should happen at the planning stage, at that very early conceptual stage, because there are decisions that happen around concept that can lock stakeholders in and then lock the D&C contractor or the alliance in following. If it's not happening in the concept stage, then it should most definitely happen as soon as the proponent is announced. The proponent should start that planning. From that point forward, they should not be waiting for the contract to be signed because it's just the time. You just don't have the time between contract signing and construction work to do everything that you need to do to get everything into alignment.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. A quick one for you, Yuchen. Can you tell us a bit more about the work that you're doing with the universities for innovation? Which universities are you working with?
Okay, so it's I think it's in the confidentiality stage, so I
Ah,
can't
okay, sure.
disclose.
No worries, that's fine. Absolutely
Yeah, so
understandable.
we can you can well or you can watch. Yeah, it's a
No worries
very
at
I
all.
think it's very innovative, very high value added solutions. Yeah, for trading market.
No problem. And
Yeah, well, I
Tara,
would
one
like to
last.
share with you more.
Okay, that's no problem at all. We'll wait and see how it unfolds. One last one with our final minute of this particular Q&A. We will have another Q&A with the next three presenters at the end of the webinar or towards the end of the webinar. The Community Information Day for Bingo Patterns Lane, Tara, has that been set or do people register? And there was also a very quick question about whether it's a waste to energy facility. If you can squeeze that into a minute.
Yeah, so definitely no, not a waste to energy facility. This is a recycling facility, a wet washing recycling facility, and there is a landfill on site. The date for the opening hasn't been set, but we are running tours, site tours for anyone that's interested, are happy to liaise directly. So perhaps after this, you can send on my slideshow my contact details, just reach out directly, and yeah, I'm happy to organise for you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody who submitted questions. We will have to kick on to our next presenters. So the first of the next lot of three, I'm very happy to introduce you to George Reinke from Reynard Wood. Thank you, George.
Thank you, Andrea. George Reinke here from Reynard Wood, which is a product manufacturer collecting infinite waste materials from industrial process of iron ore and bauxite waste streams. They are supplementary cementous materials mixed as a composite solution targeting replacement for hardwood timbers used in outdoor landscape environments, which is also to impact and save our natural tree habitat. Sorry, just do that again. Sorry, next slide. The ingredients are an international known mixture called high performance fiber reinforced cementous composite. And the ingredient list there matches that into the Australian patent awarded 2 years ago. So it is a new invention and it is driving the market forward. We see ourselves in front of a big wave of new fiber cement products that have no crystalline silica and are able to adapt and be useful in outdoor extreme Australian environmental environments. The first product was created as a simple plank at 2 meters long to fit into a container. That's now evolved into a version 2 that's finally arrived in September. So we are now in our 5th year of installed product in the Australian market without any customer complaints, only continued confidence to keep pushing forward. The product is ductile, it's not brittle, so it's not like concrete in that sense, but it is as strong as concrete, and it's also like wood, so you can drill it, cut it, nail it, just like you can with normal wood tools. But it's better to use a diamond tip blade, which you'll make your tools last longer, so it's quite safe to use. Used for outdoor flooring, predominantly that's the target market, but Australia is adapting it really well for retaining walls up to 600 mil in New South Wales and 1 meter in other states and territories in height. Fencing, underfence plinth, and cladding, we're moving into more thinner, longer products with development. Next slide, please. IS rating process, so far to date, we're involved with Materials Embodied Carbon Leaders Alliance with the government body of over 1.5 years, also in accelerated groups of Energy Lab and Boomerang Labs with government to help push this along for climate focus. The next stage, which will be finished next month, is a full Australian authority testing with the material composition for toxicology and environmental to check the matching that of their factory declaration. And then from there, we'll do our infrastructure sustainability rating process with Infrastructure Sustainability Council. Next slide, please. History started in 2019, just mixing out of a cement truck. So this is quite a responsible process, making sure that it's not going to have harm to the Australian environment, but also to the consumer. And we're coming into our 5th year now, up to now at a run rate of about 1 container load or 1,000 planks per 2 months. So any assistance to do any projects, be much appreciated. Next page, next slide, please. Australian testing to date, plus I haven't added in more there from the University of Southern Queensland, which we're looking to collaborate more to do more development, more IP, and to make more products suitable for the Australian environment. Next slide, please. and our future plans. So that's our current trajectory of sales, the blue line being the multi-purpose product, which suits many different applications, which will help the growth of this product. And then we'll expand in other products, which will be longer, thinner, hopefully to replace plastic wood decking that's out in the market. Thank you very much for allowing for this presentation. We're finished.
Thank you very much, George. I will now pass you all over to Morgan Ledger from our member Circlos.
Thank you, Andrea. By 2050, 1/3 of animal and plant species will be extinct. But don't worry, I'm not here to share the facts with you. I'm not even going to explain that 39% of global carbon emissions come from the built environment, or remind you that we're all collectively working together towards net zero. What I am here to do is to share the solution. My name is Morgan Ledger. I'm with Circlos, a software business that was founded right here in Australia with a singular mission. And that mission is to decarbonise the construction industry through infrastructure and buildings using smart software. Our mission at Circlos began over 12 years ago. Our co-founder was in Patagonia, glacier hunting. And I don't know if anyone knows anything about glacier hunting, but it has one objective, and that's to find a glacier. So after 4 days, 2 different maps, and multiple calls back to base, the guys had given up. There was no glacier to be found. About to start their journey back to base, they decided they were going to check the map just one more time. And after studying the map again, they found out that they were standing right on top of that very glacier. It had completely vanished. It was that very moment he realised right under his feet, the world is melting away. He realised we don't have more time for talk or strategize. There's only time for action. So we asked ourselves, where can we make a difference? So Circlos discovered that the construction industry is full of opportunities to decarbonise. However, today's challenges are, how do we operationalise the reduction requirements? And how do we take advantage of the easy wins that are available today? So that's why we created eTool, a smart lifecycle assessment software that can predict those easy wins. So for over 12 years, Circlos has worked hand in hand with government, consultants, contractors, and engineers right across the globe. Our partners have been using our software eTool to optimize the carbon performance of their infrastructure projects, allowing them to make informed decisions, which is backed by real data, and then ultimately reporting on all those decisions throughout the project lifecycle. And yes, Circlos is compliant with the latest ISC rating scheme. Next slide, please. Yeah. So as we know, time is critical. So we're looking for 3 partners. This partner is working on an active project currently or looking to engage in the ISC rating scheme, and ultimately looking to simplify that process. So if what I've said sounds like you, please contact me on the number below. My name is Morgan, and I've really enjoyed sharing our mission with you today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Morgan. That was terrific. I'd now love to introduce you all to Ryan Hackney from GeoFabrics.
Thanks, Andrea. First of all, thank you to the IC for organising today's webinar. It's great to be part of this unique format, and I'm looking forward to showcasing GeoFabrics' impact and innovation in the industry over the next 3 minutes. So my name is Ryan Hackney. I'm the Environmental Solutions Specialist here at GeoFabrics Australasia, and I assist our customers achieving sustainable outcomes in their projects by utilising geosynthetic solutions. Next slide, please. So geosynthetics, it's a broader term for a wide range of products used in the civil engineering industry, and they all provide specific functions. So these products include geotextiles that are used for filtration and separation, geogrids that are used for reinforcement and stabilization, geonets and geocomposites that are used for drainage, and geomembranes and geosynthetic clay liners that are used as a barrier. So GeoFabrics, we cast a net far and wide with regards to providing sustainable solutions over a wide range of industries, and that's all throughout Australia, New Zealand, and the wider Pacific. So GeoFabrics are and have been the only geosynthetic manufacturer here in Australia for over 40 years, which in itself, it provides benefits in terms of access to high quality and locally manufactured geosynthetics. Next slide, please. A simplified timeline here, it shows that from the establishment of geofabrics in the late 70s, our innovation efforts have resulted in various awards. And these include the Australian Export Award for our coastal solutions. It includes recognition in the Australian Financial Review's most innovative companies for manufacturing and consumer goods for Bidham Green Geotextile. And we've been awarded AFR's most innovative company for SorbSeal, which is our recent solution for containment of emerging contaminants, which include PFAS. Next slide, please. So Bidham's our flagship geotextile, and it's manufactured in Albury, New South Wales. And in 2020, Australian sourced recycled content was introduced into our geotextile, and that was through a partnership with Visit. So this geotextile incorporating recycled content is what we call Bidham Green. And from that period to date, geofabrics have now incorporated over 70 million recycled bottles, and that's both into our Bidham Green geotextiles and our Megaflow drainage pipe that have been and they continue to be used in infrastructure throughout Australia and New Zealand. Next slide, please. By choosing locally manufactured geosynthetic products from geofabrics, it gives low embodied carbon for the products made, which in turn, when they're utilised, it reduces the demand on the finite materials such as sands and aggregates used in construction, and that therefore results in reduced project carbon footprints. So geofabrics sustainable solutions, they can enable reduced site excavation, reduced transport, faster construction methodologies, with also the benefit of increasing infrastructure design lives and reduced maintenance programs. Next slide, please. So decarbonisation of infrastructure projects with geosynthetics, it's measurable, it's well researched, and on average, it can result in 65% carbon savings when compared to traditional construction methodologies. Next slide, please. Just like to finish by saying thank you for your time today. Geofabrics have a range of sustainable materials on the ICE Supply Directory, and we've supported many ICE projects incorporating these solutions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Really appreciate that. That was excellent. Great snapshot. So we are now in the second Q&A session. So I do encourage you once more to please pop your questions into the Q&A widget for any of the last three presenters that we heard from. We heard from Geofabrics, Circlos with their tool eTool, and from Reynard Wood. We do have one question for George from Reynard already, which is how much do Reynard Wood products cost in comparison to concrete retaining wall planks and timber floor panels?
Yeah, so we've targeted now, got to the price point already with not that amount of volume of matching that of hardwood timber sleepers. So the real target market here is, Victoria State Government has ceased logging, and that's where all these timbers or hardwood timbers have been coming for landscape products in Australia, and it's destroying our environment. To really make sure that it's accessible for the consumer or the commercial user at a fair price point. But as the orders or the sales increase, we will be continually reducing our prices down to softwood timber prices. That's the goal. And then as we develop the product longer and thinner to match, we'll always beat the price of plastic wood, but it's just not as elegant looking as plastic wood yet. But we know that plastic's not the best for outdoor environment. That's really our goal to get to that point. So, but you will see quite a disruptive approach from Reynard Wood with pricing, and we're recycling. It's accepted into any local government recycling depot. We've had it in about 6 or 7. The biogenic carbon of hemp and bamboo is not enough wood fibers or straw fibers to affect the concrete recycling process at the amount that's in there. So it's quite easy to recycle for any consumer.
Great, thanks, George. For Ryan from Geofabrics, we understand that your products contain recycled materials. Are they themselves recyclable at the end of the asset life cycle?
Yeah, so ultimately it's going to depend on, the application that these products are, employed in. Geosynthetics are used to support natural materials. So they're used in soils, they're used in aggregates, they're used in sand. So, the design life of these projects that incorporate these materials, they typically can range from 25, 50 to 100, 120 years plus. So I think as technology progresses over time and there's more services such as being able to separate the, say, polyester or polyethylene materials from, you know, soil contamination or sand contamination. If they can be washed, then yeah, there's no reason why these products couldn't be recycled once again.
Great, thank you. I've got one for Morgan. What size of project do you think is sort of most appropriate for using your platform? And if somebody wanted to just kind of take a look under the bonnet beforehand, is there a sort of a possibility to have a look at a demo version or do a trial?
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of sizing, it can be all sizes. So we work on HS2, which is a $75 billion rail project in the UK, all the way down to a park bench for a council. So it can really be anything, and anything in the built form can be modeled and optimized. In terms of trials, absolutely, if someone wants to reach out and they want to learn more, we can discuss what the use case is and then decide which style of trial would be best. But absolutely, that is available as well.
Great, thank you. Another one for you, actually, while I've got you. How do materials like Reynard and Geofabrics get added to the LCA software?
Absolutely. So new materials typically would go through the EPD process, which is environmental product declaration, and that's essentially a label. So if you look at a food product, it has all what the ingredients are and what it consists of. It would be the same for an environmental product or a building product. So that's one way. Other ways, you can, if it has an industry average, we can use a database like an EcoEvent or AusLCI, which would have an average emissions factor for your product. So depending on how new it is, will depend on what process you have to go through.
Yeah.
And with Reynard Wood, yeah, with the life cycle assessment is a carbon declaration, which is listed in the slide pack you can see, and then also the environmental declaration. We go through scope 1, 2, and 3. Detail, obviously that's factory declaration. The factory is offshore, but we're going now through the process of University of Southern Queensland to collaborate with their future materials. They're quite a young university and very eager to help, you know, pioneer and innovate this sort of invention further for Australia and Australians. And it's also a global initiative that we want to push on further after Australia is successful. But after that's been done for a full material composition test, we will then do the infrastructure sustainability rating with ISC and be listed more further professionally in all the other requirements for government and big industry and so forth.
No worries. I've got one for Ryan. If you have any questions from the audience, please do pop them into the Q&A. This is a good chance for everybody. Probably else has the same question as you, so don't be shy. One for you, Ryan. What do you see are the obstacles facing project teams in terms of the increased uptake of recycled material products? What kind of challenges do you come up in conversations that you have, and how do you get around that kind of mindset?
I think the typical question and challenge is, does it have the same performance as a virgin product? So we do a lot of work in our research and development laboratory. We've got an R&D dedicated team. A lot of the work is focused on demonstrating performance. So we do a lot of durability testing. We do a lot of raw materials, pre-product testing to ensure that the performance of a recycled product performs at the same level and has the same level of durability as a virgin counterpart.
Yeah.
That's what we see as the main question.
Okay, thank you. And a very quick one for you again, is your EPD process verified?
So we're going through the process of life cycle assessments currently, and the next stage is to obviously have those verified and converted into EPD. So the timeline on that is probably between July to the end of the year that we will start to publish verified EPDs on a range of our manufactured products.
Brilliant, thank you. Back to you, Morgan. So somebody acknowledging your answer about adding products to the system, which is great. How about alternative methodologies or renting and reusing a product as opposed to purchasing something new, new product or plant? There's a curly one.
Yeah, absolutely. We have options for both. Obviously, within a project, you're going to be using plant generally more than just the one of the project, so that has to be considered. So the fuel being the main use, there is some component to building the plant item with the embodied energy, but we do have options for that, and I may have to lean on a technical person to give you a formal answer for that component, but yes, you can model either or is the main answer.
No problem. Very good. I think that's all in our Q&As there, but there was one lingering. Tara, if we've still got you, and I'm sorry to do this to our webinar people. But if Tara, are you still with us? And would you like to answer the question around, will the new facility be Green Star certified? If you're still with us. No, sorry, Tara has left. So we will definitely answer that question and any others that come through straight after this session. So we can do that in writing. And just a reminder that this has been recorded. So you'll receive a link after the session into your inbox. So feel free to share this with your colleagues and peers as well. So thank you everyone once again for taking part into today, in our webinar today. This has been the very first Suppliers in the Spotlight session run by the Infrastructure Sustainability Council. We're absolutely delighted. It's gone so well. Thank you for your questions. Thank you to all of our presenters for your pitches, for your presentations. It's been really informative. And we appreciate the opportunity to connect you to the project teams that are undertaking ICE ratings and to the whole infrastructure sector. That's it from me. Other than thank yous, I think we've said it all. So you've got a couple of minutes left in your day, everybody. Please join us again in 2 months' time, where we present another fresh batch of 6 suppliers from the iSupply directory for you to meet and greet. Really appreciate your time and enjoy your day.